Okay, so we're up at Spanish Peaks right now, and we're about to run you through a list of all of the things that would be relevant in making a decision between which club is best for you. And right after we're done doing this, we're gonna go over to Moonlight Basin and do the exact same thing there.
All right, as Alan said, yes, we're gonna start with location, ski accessibility and terrain. We're then gonna move to amenities. We're gonna go golf, houses and land, rentability, general pricing. Is this a good fit for you and your family, and what's coming, and then our favorite things about it. Starting with location, everything at Spanish Peaks is centrally located. It's very easy, it's very walkable. It's also the closest club to the town center, and it has great ski access up Andesite and over to Big Sky Resort.
What Matt means by walkability is all of the amenities, whether you're talking about the private clubhouses and the public hotel, which is the 5-star Montage Hotel, all of those things are very close to where most of the homes are located within the club. All right, in terms of ski accessibility in Spanish Peaks, there's a number of neighborhood lifts within the community that get you down to the clubhouse or the Montage Hotel, where you can take one lift up and then be over at Big Sky Resort.
Yeah, and the terrain there is really family friendly. It's nothing that you've got to be worried about, or it's not expert terrain getting up and out and over Andesite Mountain and over to Big Sky. So it should be pretty easy for you and your family.
All right. In terms of amenities at Spanish Peaks, the way to break this down is private amenities versus public amenities. In terms of private amenities, we have one clubhouse right now, as well as one that's being built and should be done sometime in the next 6 months. And those serve fitness needs, ski in, ski out, restaurant, bar, all those kinds of amenities for members.
Yeah, we'll jump on a little bit more. There's pools, there's fitness and everything like Alan said. We'll touch on golf a little bit later, which is one of our favorites. And you've also got the Montage Hotel, which has several restaurants, spa, and public amenities there for the community, but it's walking distance from the Spanish Peaks Clubhouse, and that's a great addition. All right, next topic, golf. It's no secret. It's one of our favorite summertime activities here in Big Sky. A couple things to know about the Spanish Peaks golf course. It's Weiskopf-designed. It's 18 holes. If you're a pure golfer, you're going to find it more playable. You know, you can score better a little bit here, have a shorter round, typically around 4 hours, versus Moonlight, which is a little bit bigger and badder. And we'll get into that later. And they do have the Tom's 10, which is Weiskopf's favorite 10 holes condensed down into a par 3. And that's a great addition to the golf here at Spanish Peaks.
Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about in Spanish Peaks is real estate. So we have everything from land to condos to single family homes and even larger acreage lots available here. One thing about Spanish Peaks as it compares to Moonlight Basin is we have less condos, smaller format. The condos that you will see are, some of them are fractional ownership and then whole ownership units within the Montage Hotel. We also have land that starts at about $2 million for 1 to 3 acre lots, not ski in, ski out, up to anywhere in the $10 million range for larger format lots. And then for built product, whole ownership, you're talking about around $5 million starting point up to above $20 million or so.
All right, so rentability. One thing to think about first and foremost is that Spanish Peaks has less rental homes in the market than Moonlight does, and we'll get into that a little bit later. If you're going to buy a home for rental purposes or investment purposes here in Spanish Peaks, we'd advise that it's probably ski in, ski out and amenitized, because rental guests do not have access to the private facilities here at Spanish Peaks. Let's dive a little bit deeper into general pricing. Alan might have mentioned it before, but you're looking at about $2 million for a smaller piece of land or a non-ski in, ski out piece of land. We can get all the way up into $10 million depending on acreage. And for houses here, full ownership, we're looking at about an average of $5 million for your buried entry to get into the market, and we can get all the way up into the $25 million range here at Spanish Peaks.
One other thing to consider when we're talking about pricing is when it comes to land, what we've seen in the past and probably will continue to see in the future is that people put more of a premium on ski in, ski out property than the property that does not have direct ski access but better views.
Another super important one, I don't know another word to describe this, but maybe just vibes around the club. Is it going to be a good fit for you and your family? We'll start with kind of dining and operations. I think Spanish Peaks has had a longer run. They've been open a little bit longer. They've been private a little bit longer, so that helps. They've been managed by Montage before, so that definitely helps.
One thing that I notice in terms of vibes is it seems like the members at Spanish Peaks seem to be a little bit more service oriented. because the Montage used to manage the clubhouse, the food and beverage amenities, even outside of the hotel, you get a lot more of those members that is a priority for them.
I mean, this can be taken out of context a little bit, but the way that I often described it to people who are coming here for the first time and they're having a hard time deciding between Moonlight or Spanish Peaks, and I think Spanish Peaks can be a little bit similar to one of your club operations back home where you got your Peter Millar, we're tucked in. It's still Montana, it's fun, it's friendly, but it's a little bit more formal. So that's something to keep in mind. And when we get over to Moonlight, we might be untucked and golfing in sandals.
It's important to note that none of those things that Matt talks about in terms of it seeming more buttoned up are rules by any means. It's just like when we go to dinner here, when we're invited to go to dinner with friends and things like that, I feel more like I need to tuck in my shirt maybe, wear something a little bit nicer than when I'm dining over at the other club.
All right, so what's new? What's coming to Spanish Peaks? We got the Aspire building that's almost finished, which will be an excellent fitness addition, ski and ski out, pools, thinking about an indoor-outdoor building with dining right there up by the Montage and the clubhouse. Highlands West is still wrapping up if you're looking for some acreage with ski access. That's right below that. And we've also got Powder Crest, which is the newest development where you can probably find 3 to 7+ acres for new ski and ski out land with a new lift.
One thing that's really exciting about what's coming in the future of Spanish Peaks that we could speak to vaguely is that one knock on Spanish Peaks in the past has been lack of properties with direct ski access, but everything that's being built in the future in Spanish Peaks, whether it's raw land neighborhoods, condos, homes, it's all happening up the hill, up the ski mountain. So more ski in, ski out access to come in the future.
Yeah, currently one of the differences, and we haven't talked about this too much, but we're going to jump up to Moonlight later, is Moonlight typically has better ski access. But with all the product that Alan talked about, we think that Spanish Peaks is going to catch up.
All right, now we're going to talk about what our favorite thing is in Spanish Peaks. To me, the thing that sets Spanish Peaks apart is how close all the amenities are and how easy the ski access is for family members that are young and maybe not great skiers. That's a huge plus for people who are intimidated by the sport of skiing.
All right, and in addition to what Alan said, I will say that I really do enjoy the food and the dining experience here. It's one of our favorite places to eat in all of Big Sky. I'll add a little bit of extra to it too. I think the Spanish Peaks golf course and the Tom's 10 setup is a great place to take my kids. It's my kids' favorite place to come golf, so that's very important. It's easy to get to, it's easy to play, the staff is super friendly, so I'm gonna give them an A+ for family-friendly golf experience. Okay, so Alan and I have made our way up to Moonlight Basin. One thing you will notice, so we both have jackets on. We were just down at Spanish Peaks earlier. Sometimes Moonlight gets called the dark side of the mountain. We can experience a little bit more weather here. It's a little more vast and open. We will talk about location. We're on about 8,000 or so acres, which 70+% is in conservation. Alan could talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't know if this goes into location, but one thing that is really great about Moonlight Basin is that the view corridors are amazing. The developer often describes Moonlight Basin as islands of density in a sea of open space, and you'll really see that here when you look at some of these views around us.
Yeah, in contrast to Spanish Peaks, Moonlight Basin is more spread out, and we'll get into the amenities, but the amenities are more spread out. They're a couple miles from each other. We're also, an extra 10 or 15 minutes from the Big Sky Town Center as well, so not as easy of access, but we're definitely up here, sitting right below the Spanish Peaks. We are in the mountains up in Moonlight.
Because Moonlight Basin is so spread out, depending on where you're talking about getting to in Moonlight Basin, I would say it's about 15 minutes from the town center to about 25 minutes away from the town center if you're trying to get to the furthest part away from the town center, which is the golf clubhouse.
Just a reminder, we are licensed realtors here in Big Sky, Montana. We work here, we live here, we play here. We would love to help you buy or sell a home in Montana.
So you're going to see a phone number below and an email address. Feel free to email us, call, or text, and we would love to help you out.
Okay, so ski access and terrain. We tend to see quite a few different ski neighborhoods and variety here. Moonlight has a ton of ski accessibility. I would think that the skiing over on the Moonlight side is quicker to access as well as some of the other neighborhoods around Big Sky. And some of the terrain after you get out of the general blues and greens and family section can be a little bit more technical. So your expert skier or you're kind of like hungry for skiing skier is going to like Moonlight a lot.
I think one area where they're a little bit different, and we're trying not to talk too much about Spanish Peaks while we're talking about Moonlight Basin, but a big difference is that Moonlight Basin, right when you access the skiing from the lodge, you're right in the zones that you would want to be skiing. Whereas Spanish Peaks, you have to take one lift just to start to access the skiing that you're going to want to spend your day doing.
There's enough blue and green terrain to get around from the lodges in Moonlight, but as Alan said, it's going to dump you right into what your hardcore skier is looking for a lot quicker than over on the Spanish Peaks or Andesite side.
And then the last thing I'll say about the ski terrain at Moonlight Basin is when the original developer designed Moonlight Basin, they wanted to design the most amount of skiable properties. They called it beachfront ski access. So all of the older properties at Moonlight Basin are right on the ski mountain, which is different from Spanish Peaks, whereas where some of those neighborhoods are not ski accessible but have great views.
We are at one of our favorite amenities here at Moonlight, Ullery's Lake neighborhood. Right behind us is a natural feature that's one of the main amenities, especially in the summertime. Little beach, little swimming, little fishing, and the Lake Lodge is just a couple hundred yards above us here. So that's one of the main amenities here at Moonlight.
Yeah, as we spoke about earlier, the amenities here in Moonlight Basin are more spread out. So the other amenity I'm going to talk about is Moonlight Lodge, which I would say is the highlight amenity during the winter months. You're right on the side of the ski mountain. There's a private, bar, restaurant, kids hangout zone. It's just a really great place. And one of the main lifts, the Iron Horse lift, is right out your back door.
Yeah, that Iron Horse lift, the important part is that centrally drops you into the middle of Moonlight and Big Sky. So you can go either direction right from the start. It is rarely ever crowded, and it's 5 feet from the back door of that lodge. We also have the golf clubhouse, which is probably, 5 or 7 minutes. Like Alan said, things are a little bit more spread out, so you get to drive down towards the Madison Valley, and that's where the 18-hole Nicklaus golf course is at. We'll dive a little bit further into golf, but there's a whole nother clubhouse down there that affords the opportunity for dining. It's a great pizza and par 3 summertime patio hang to have dinner during golf season.
And then just to touch on it, while we're standing here in this neighborhood, one of the newer amenities that exists here is the Lake Lodge, which is another awesome non-golf hangout in the summer, as well as provides ski access in the winter to the neighborhoods that are right around here. But in the summer, you've got your pool, your half-court basketball gym, your updated fitness center of Asian fusion restaurant called Three Forks. It's just a great amenity all around.
Yeah, and let's not forget the One&Only is about 5 minutes from where we're standing. So that's a public amenity. Moonlight members get access to that, and so does the public. But you're talking about several great restaurants, spa. That's a game changer for staying and being up on the mountain in the Moonlight area.
All right. Now we're going to talk about golf. One thing that's really cool about Moonlight Basin is the golf experience is somewhat removed from the rest of the club because everything is so spread out here. But the golf component of Moonlight Basin is something that golf members here are obsessed with. It's amazing. The views are beautiful, and Matt will tell you a little bit more.
Yeah, so it's an 18-hole Nicklaus course in classic Nicklaus fashion. He did not make it very easy. You're probably going to be out there with your camera looking around, taking photos with your iPhone the entire time instead of actually paying attention to your round. The one thing that I will say is the Spanish Peaks course is much more playable. It's a quicker round. Moonlight can be 5+ hours, and for someone in a single-digit to mid-digit handicap, it can be one of the hardest golf courses you've ever played. So we would suggest try out both golf courses and make sure that's where you want to spend your summer. There's reciprocity at both. But I'm not going to lie and say that Moonlight is an easy course whatsoever. Let's talk houses and land and real estate opportunities at Moonlight. Moonlight had, with the original development plan, platted for smaller platform, condos and townhouses. So there's a little bit more variety over here. You can get in for a built product in the $2 million range, and we can get all the way up to $20 million. When we're talking about land, there's probably less of a land offering in the general area of Moonlight when we're standing right now, and a whole new land offering down at the golf course that we'll tell you about. But you're talking about typically $3 to $4 million for ski and ski out starting price, up to 8, 9, or 10 if we're looking at acreage, and we'll dive into a little bit more of that expansion later.
One of the things that Matt just touched on is some of the smaller condos and things like that are offered in Moonlight Basin. One thing that I like to tell our clients sometimes is when you're comparing apples to apples in terms of custom homes and like property between the two clubs, the price per square foot is very similar, but Moonlight offers some of the product on the lower end, the smaller end of the spectrum, that just isn't available in Spanish Peaks. So while one club sometimes gets considered to be the premium product because the entry level price point is higher, that's actually not the case. It's just that one of the clubs doesn't have product in that price range. Okay, now we're going to talk about rentability. One of the things that separates Moonlight Basin from Spanish Peaks a little bit is that there are some rentable products in Moonlight Basin that will give renters access to the private amenities. For example, we mentioned the Lake Lodge earlier. There are 16 condos above that Lake Lodge, and those renters will have access to Moonlight amenities while they're here, as well as the 4 penthouse renters above the Moonlight Lodge.
Yeah, and there's just a wider variety of rentals or more rentals available in Moonlight across the board. And I think some of that is because of the smaller platform, what we talked about being originally platted for more condos and townhouses. And most of that product is ski and ski out. So somebody can come here, bring groceries, cook and enjoy the place, make dinner, ski back, ski out, and not worry about having to go to any of the amenities that are here. And they can kind of exist outside of the club with just their ski access alone. So what's the look and feel? We used the word vibes earlier around Moonlight. I'll start with that it can feel a little bit more laid back. Our club member demo is probably the same, economic demographic background, but the two clubs look and feel and operate totally different for a reason. And I'd say the main thing that's going to stick out, and Alan can touch on a little bit more of it, is Moonlight's just a little bit more laid back.
Yeah, I would say that due to some of the amenities, like the one that we just talked about down by the lake and things like that, this is a funny way to say it, but I think there's more places in Moonlight where if you're a parent of young kids like we both are, where you feel comfortable with your kids running amok and bothering less people. It's probably something that a lot of young families think about when they're deciding to join a club like this.
Yeah, and for teenage or older kids too, it's just more spread out. I think they've got an opportunity to kind of be off on their own and do things from the family where, Spanish Peaks, everyone's kind of there centrally located. As Alan touched on, we've got I think it's 6 kids now between both of our families, all under the ages of 8 or 9. And we feel very comfortable bringing them up here to the lake and kind of letting them be feral Montana kids and have a good time. And just the amount of space helps with that up here.
Yeah, we also because we talked about this at Spanish Peaks, at Moonlight Basin, I also feel like, at the golf course, you'll see dogs running around with the people who are playing. You don't feel like you need to tuck in your shirt or even wear anything specifically a little bit fancier if you're going out to a nice dinner, which even though Moonlight has those great places to eat, it's just a little bit more laid back. I'd say it's a little bit more casual all around.
I kind of like to describe it as more quintessentially Montana. We're higher up here, we're at higher elevation, we're kind of at the base of the Spanish Peaks. We're definitely in the elements and the weather more. So you're going to get the guest or you're going to get the buyer or club member that has a little bit more of an adventurous outdoor spirit, like the artist, the skier, get out into the mountains a little bit more than having everything so accessible.
Piggybacking on that, because the ski access is more immediate, you're accessing terrain right outside of the Moonlight Lodge, like we talked about earlier, I would say that when you can tell the difference between these clubs the most is on a powder day in the winter. At Moonlight Lodge, people are running around in their bibs. They're stoked about the skiing that they just did. It's super casual. Everybody's in their ski stuff still. Whereas at Spanish Peaks, you sometimes get skiers that chose Spanish Peaks for all of those reasons, that it's great, access is easier terrain and things like that, but they won't be as fired up about a powder day as the members over here at Moonlight. Okay, so what's to come in Moonlight Basin in the future? So right now, the biggest thing we've got is a neighborhood called Moonlight West. It's available for sale right now. There are lots available in the $3 to $4 million range. And then we've got some cabins that start around $9 million and a new golf clubhouse that is also going to serve the neighborhood, which will be ski and ski out in the future. The whole entire ski resort is expanding to the west at some point. So there will be lifts that will serve a neighborhood that right now is just served by the golf course.
Yeah, in addition to what Alan said, we're going to get 18 more holes of golf. So you're going to have 36 holes of full golf at Moonlight. If you're familiar, you're a big golfer, you know the name David McClay Kidd, Bandon Dunes, you name it. He's putting in what I would call more of like a playable course up there and a par 3. So you're going to have one of the hardest courses in the country, one of the prettiest courses, and a little bit more playable by one of the best architects, golf architects in the world up there. And that's something that we're really excited to see for the golf expansion and a brand new clubhouse there at the Moonlight West.
Yes, and then moving forward even beyond that into the far future where we can't speak to specifics, but the entire part of Moonlight Basin is expanding to the west and up the mountain. So as that westward expansion of the ski resort goes, Moonlight Basin will continue to expand its real estate offerings and amenity offerings to members, and much of Moonlight Basin is on public land because of the skiable acreage. So a lot of what's to come in the future will probably be a benefit to both members and the public alike.
Yeah, I think the last thing that's not really Moonlight specific, but maybe it's Big Sky or skiing specific, but it's on the Moonlight side, is taking Lone Peak and almost making it 360 degree skiable. And that's what Alan's talking about, coming down below the North Summit snowfield and skiing back over to the golf course. It's going to be a major expansion for graded terrain and lift access terrain at Moonlight Basin and Big Sky Resort. So what is our favorite part about Moonlight Basin? Full disclosure, we're drinking the Kool-Aid. We're members up here. We're homeowners. This is where we chose to raise our kids. I could talk about the golf course. I mean, that's probably the most exciting thing for me. Like, I love that golf course. We've played everywhere around the world. It is truly special. I could talk about that for hours and all the expansion that's coming. But what I'd say is the best part for me is the staff has remained up here over the last like 5 or 6 years, and they've really gotten to know our family, and my kids feel really comfortable here. And I think they've just done a great job with the service and the people that they've hired and the people they've been able to keep on. And it really feels like we have a sense of community up here because of that.
I'll piggyback on that again. Like, I think this Moonlight Basin to me feels unlike any other, quote unquote country club you've ever been a part of. The GM down to the assistant GM to a lot of the golf pros, when they're not playing golf in the summer, they're duck hunting in the fall, they're fishing. They've really bought into the Montana lifestyle as a whole. And then the other part for me is that what I see my kids go through from like a ski perspective is just so amazing. It's awesome watching your kids learn how to ski, especially when they're young. And some of the skiing that they get access to right outside of the amenities at Moonlight Basin is truly spectacular. And then one last thing is that I love hanging out with my friends at the amenities and my kids running around, and you feel like everybody knows each other. Everybody's watching out for each other's kids. Not that there's anything that you need to watch out for, but it's just great. It's a great community and we just love it.
Yeah, one thing you just made me think about that I haven't thought about before is we've got all these great amenities and you can go inside and get comfortable, but like everything is based off outside here. So it kind of forces us, and that's the reason we're in Montana anyway, is to be outside and enjoy nature. And you're like in the thick of it here. And I really enjoy that my family and my kids, when we're spending time up here, like the focus is being outside, not in the building. Totally. Even though they're comfortable and they're great, it's about being outside in Montana.
Yeah, it's just true quality time. And I think Matt and I experience it more from a local perspective, but we, most of our friends live somewhere else and are out here part-time. When we see them cherish the memories that they create here with their families away from where they come from, it really reiterates to us what's so special about this place.
Hey, as always, thank you for tuning in. We love making these videos, but just a reminder that we are licensed realtors in the state of Montana. We'd love to help you buy or sell a home up here at Moonlight Basin.
Yeah, and we have a phone number and email address below. Feel free to email us, call, text, whatever is easier for you. We would love to help you out.